Ingersoll, the Executive Director of the Godly Play Foundation. I am here with Reverend Mark Bozzuti-Jones, and so grateful to be here with you, Mark. Mark is the priest and director of spiritual formation for the Trinity Retreat Center. And he is a children's author. I just told Mark I found out that he is the author of one of my beloved children's ministry books that I had in a congregation before, Jesus the Word, and I am excited to get a copy for home now because I had forgotten about that book. So, and Mark is the newest member of our Godly Play Foundation board, and we are just so delighted to have him a part of the foundation and his gifts and his skills in the work that we do at Godly Play. So welcome, Mark.
Thank you so much, Heather, and thank you for being so welcoming. It's an honor to be part of the board.
Oh, yeah. Well, we so appreciate having you and your insight. And let's just start off with, if we were able to have this conversation sitting across from each other in a coffee shop, what would you be drinking?
I would have a cappuccino. I think that's my favorite coffee drink. So I would have a cappuccino and a blueberry muffin. How about that?
Yes, that sounds lovely. I think I would go along with the pastry idea. I'll add a dark coffee with a nice brownie. I'm feeling in the chocolate mood these days.
I like that. I like that choice.
Well, Mark, I'd love for you to just begin by sharing with us about your connection with Godly Play and what brought you to be a part of the board.
Wonderful. My original diocese is the Diocese of Massachusetts. And when I first became an Episcopalian, I was employed by the Diocese of Massachusetts to be the specialist for children's ministries. And many of the parishes in Massachusetts use Godly Play as their method of forming these young Christians. And for me, this was about the year 2000. And so 20 years ago, this was my first introduction to Godly Play. And I loved the Montessori method. I thought that this was just right on, and the method employed by Jerome Berryman. And so shortly after I started that job, I went to Indianapolis to do a workshop with Jerome, and we became fast friends. That's not saying much because Jerome becomes fast friends with just about everybody in the world. So it really deepened my appreciation of him. I think sometimes when you use a product or when you use a curriculum, that is just one thing. But when you get to see the heart behind the product or the spirit behind the product, it can enhance your sense of it. And so meeting Jerome gave me even a stronger sense of the importance of Godly Play. It was clear that Jerome has a passion for children, a passion for children's ministries, and a passion for formation of children in such a way that they can grow and develop a sense of God's love, not only for them, but a sense of God's love for the world.
Yeah, that's lovely. And you clearly have a sense of that in your writing and your books for children as well.
Yeah, so I guess that's, I mean, so I think oftentimes we bring the love that we meet in the world. And so for me, the love that I experienced in the curriculum of Godly Play has certainly inspired my own thinking, my own theology and my sense of how I preach, how
Mm,
I minister, and how I do formation. Because yes, without a doubt, the importance of being in touch with the realities of children. You know, as we know, for Jesus, you know, Jesus was recorded as saying, unless we become like little children, we cannot enter into the kingdom of heaven. So the childlike posture, the remembering that we're all children before God, is such an important part. And I like the fact that Jerome chose to insert play
mm,
into this curriculum, you know, that it is godly play, because indeed, I think we serve a God who delights in us. We serve a God who brings us joy, and we serve a God who leads us into wonder. And
mm,
so this sense of wonder is, you know, certainly one of the elements of godly play that I've always found just so powerful, this
mm,
sense of wonder, and how when we talk about God, the most important thing is to allow each other to wander, to deepen our sense of God through wonder.
mm. Yeah, yeah. So, um, I think you reflect what I've heard from many people who have experienced godly play, many adults that talk about the fact that that experience has shaped who they are in their careers or in their leadership style. And you spoke about that as preaching. And how would you say, what do you share an example of what that looks like and how that's impacted the work that you do?
Well, for me, that sense of the Montessori method,
Mm-hmm.
that is a method that involves many aspects of our living. You know, it's tactile, uh it is spiritual, it is physical, it allows you to participate on deeper level. It allows you to enter into the story, it allows you to hear the story, to see the story, and to feel the story. On so many levels, I believe that that is actually the best approach to God, because God comes to us in all areas of our lives, and God comes to us through all our senses. And I think we have a deeper, more profound experience of God when we can experience God on so many levels. And I think when, you know, like when we pay attention to the gospel, you know, I think even that scene of Jesus before Thomas wanted to touch, you know, to touch the wounds and to be present to the wounds of Jesus. And I think the the experience of touching and hearing and being present, and even the healings of Jesus, you know, where Jesus touched the eyes of the blind man, or, you know, the word of Jesus was able to touch and heal others. That's my experience of what godly play brings.
Yeah, yeah, that's so unique.
Yes, it is. It is.
um, Thank you for that. So you have spoken very eloquently about godly play as an opportunity to be somewhat of a prophetic voice in our world. I'd love for you to share more about how you conceptualize that.
Yeah, good. Happy to.
Yeah.
One of the songs that I heard as a child was something about children learn what they live, and
Mhm.
children live what they learn. So children learn what they live, and children live what they learn. Increasingly, I'm aware that how we form children determines the kind of world that we will live in, the kind of church that we will be in for the future. And as we know, this year, but not just this year, I think all of our lives and at any moment in human history, we're always challenged by the issues of peace, the issues of social justice, the issues of compassion, and the issues of respect. I honestly believe that godly play, probably more than any other instrument, any other curriculum in the church, with its unique methodology and its emphasis on having us wander as a way to come more deeply into the experience of Christ. That godly play can take the lead in ensuring that our children celebrate and live into the Christian principles and the celebration, especially of our baptismal covenant of respecting the dignity of every human being. You know, there is no denying that we are living in a society that is challenged by the effects of racism. There is no denying that we live in a world that is challenged by the situations of xenophobia, how we treat the stranger, homophobia, how we treat people who are different, and a world that oftentimes is not welcoming of the stranger, not welcoming of the person who is different, and also not welcoming of the people who are hungry, the people who are thirsty, the people who are poor, the prisoners. So going back to that understanding of children learning what they live and live what they learn, I believe that godly play has a prophetic role, that what we teach in godly play can establish the foundation for our children. So as they keep growing, they remain childlike in their hearts, childlike in how they treat others, childlike in how they respond to the issues that they will face in high school, in college, and as adults. And so, yes, I do believe that godly play has a prophetic role to play, a prophetic role of ensuring that the children who come in touch with godly play see and celebrate the diversity of God, that the children who come in touch with godly play see and celebrate the differences. You know, it's like Joseph's coat in its many colors, that they see images in godly play and in the lessons being taught of how we are called to be a just society, how we're called to be a loving society, and how the church is truly called to be a beloved community, a beloved community in which all God's children can play. And, you know, sometimes, you know, we forget that sometimes, especially as children, some of the most challenging moments for any of us as children is the playground, you know. And
Yeah.
so, you know, godly play, again, has a prophetic role to ensure that children know what it means to play in the church of God, to play in the community of God, and to play in such a way where every child is welcomed, loved, and respected.
Yeah. Oh, Mark, you never cease to just inspire me with the way that you articulate the profound potential that godly play has in for the church, for the world, for children, for us all. So um, this week in Advent, in our Godly Place stories, we are remembering the prophets and the people who show us the way and point the way and come so close to God, and God comes so close to them that they know what they are supposed to do or what God is inviting them to. You certainly, in even the short time I have known you, you have been one of those people in my life. And I'd love to hear who are the prophets in your life? Who?
That's a great question. First, I would say, I think I would say my wife,
Mm,
Kathy Bozzuti-Jones,
yeah.
who certainly demonstrates the wisdom and the patience and the love of God
Mm,
for me. I
yeah.
would say also, you know, our son, Mark Anthony,
Mm,
that he certainly demonstrates that for me. I think for me, the other luminaries, I would definitely have to name Jerome Berryman. Just his sense of play, his sense of being faithful, his sense of being attentive to God in the world. Pope Francis inspires me. Martin Luther King Jr. inspires me. But I think overall, I would say just people everywhere.
yeah.
I would describe myself as a lover of people. I think,
Uh,
I just keep discovering the goodness, just this wonderful spirit
mm, mm,
in every human being.
yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much, Mark. You embody that love of people
Uh,
in the way that you.
and so do you, Heather. So do you, by the way. So do you.
Oh, well, thank you. It means a lot coming from you. I am just so thrilled that we have this opportunity to work together and be a part of this vision that we continue to live into for God's people and God's children. And thank you for your work in that.
Thank you so
And
much.
thank you for your time today.